Anytime during the show, type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
A very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, putting in perspective the National Development Plan, what strategies does it propose to deal with our development challenges? In April 2010, Uganda launched an ambitious policy document known as the National Development Plan to address structural bottlenecks in the economy in order to accelerate transformation of this country. Under the NDP, investment priorities would include physical infrastructure development, human resource development, promotion of science and technology, agriculture and industrialization. The NDP puts in place a strategy which is supposed to determine the national budget priorities and how the available resources would be allocated to the relevant sectors that would have a multiplier effect. The vision of the plan is having a transformed Ugandan society from a peasant one to a modern one and a prosperous country within 30 years. But Uganda continues to boast of many policies, but the problem is within implementation, Now, a recent report from the NPA, that's the National Planning Authority, that was due to be presented at a cabinet retreat, but one which was shelved, shows that government is failing to meet the requirements of the NDP. Equally disturbing is the fact that many Ugandans remain ignorant about the contents of the NDP and others unable to task government to operate within this particular framework. So tonight we unpack the NDP to try and understand how it seeks to address the development challenges of this country. We'll also look at the possible troubles that the government faces in meeting the targets set therein. Our guests tonight, Hon William Oketcho, former West Budama MP and ex-chairman of the Parliamentary Budget Committee. You're most welcome, Hon Oketcho.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers and listeners.
Viewers, because we're also on the internet. We also are glad to be joined by Dr. Abed Bwanika, President of the People's Democratic Party. You're most welcome, Dr. Bwanika.
Thank you. People's Development Party.
People's Development Party.
We are not democratic in the sense of the name.
People's Development Party.
Yes, good evening,
right.
Good evening, listeners, and it's nice to be on the Spectrum.
Right, also a former presidential aspirant. Now, Dr. Bwanika, since the launch of the NDP, what have we been able to do differently as a country?
First of all, the NDP document is one of the, could say, relatively good document. As usual, Uganda has invested in producing these wonderful documents. Interestingly, as you have just mentioned, how many Ugandans are in the know of this document and its details? That is a big question. Whether the ordinary person down there and the would-be implementers of these very important details of the document at the districts, at the local government level, come at the central government, whether they are they know the details of the document, the political leaders in this country. After the launch, you may have realized that it's not a document that is discussed in the public. I was actually surprised that you called me to discuss the NDP. It's not something that I'm hearing, media interested in, because I started thinking that it was shelved somewhere. But also, having said that, whether people know it or don't, is the government itself using this document as a guideline? Because, as you have said, it is supposed to be a national strategic plan.
Yes.
That's what a national development plan means.
Yes.
It's supposed to guide the fiscal policies of government and the best instrument, the best tool. When we are talking about fiscal, we are talking about the national budget. The entire frameworks we are talking about, this document is supposed to help the country transform in the next 30 years, and it has been phased in 5 years, for the next 6 phases. We are saying that by the end of the 30 years, Uganda should be a middle income country. And after these five years that we are talking about, I think ending 2014, 2014, the budget of the fiscal year 2015, we are supposed to have turned around our per capita incomes. We are supposed to have turned around our unemployment levels. This is a huge thing. From even the government document, you hear figures like 83% of the youth unemployed. This is a document that is supposed to work out these miracles, but it is unknown. It is not utilized. So probably that's why those who are supposed to come out with an evaluation report probably they were in fear of what they were going to present. So I'm reluctant to say that the document has guided the policy, has guided the economy. I think it is still a very good document. It's
a nice document,
nice
way
document,
down the shelves.
And probably Rwanda, as usual,
will pick it, implement it at no cost.
Yes, I think it's a nice document. I have some critique about it, and of course there are some areas where we don't agree.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the details.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, but at least you could relatively say it's above 60. It's a document above 60. It would be counted a good document. But
some people have said it's a very good document.
Yes, it hasn't impacted, according to me, it hasn't impacted on the direction of the country in terms of the economy.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Honorable Oketcho, of course, a couple of days ago, say a week plus couple of days, the National Planning Authority Chairman, Dr. Samba Mgerwa, was supposed to present his own critique 1 year after the document, 2 years actually, April 2010 to April 2012. He was not able to speak because the program changed when they went for the coffee break. By the time they came back, his name had been removed. Do you think this kind of document will ever see the light of day in our planning?
Edmond, when this document was presented to Ugandan public in April 2010, everybody felt that it could be the guiding document for development in this country, for transformation. And we expected that everybody, all sectors of all corners of the country, the academicians, the local government people, or the central government, the members of parliament, and so on, would be seeing it all through.
Yes,
just like everybody refers to the constitution of Uganda. But to my surprise, everything is very quiet about this document, and I can't understand why the chairman of the planning authority could have been struck of the program when was actually coming to present a very, very important document or review or update of this very, very important document. As Dr. Bwanika said, this, and of course, as I know, because I've been part of this for quite some time, right from the time the bill was being formulated to the enactment of the act and so on. This is a very good document. I took the opportunity to distribute copies of this document to the African parliamentarians when we met here in April 2010. And they all ran back to say they had never seen that, this kind of document, in their own countries. And we thought it was now, it was then the beginning of really transformation in Uganda, both academically and also, through planning. And what was said and emphasized that each year, during the formation of the budget, a portion of this plan has got to be extracted and used to guide the budget formation. But I don't know whether that is happening, because nobody seems to be actually relating this to the budget framework paper, which is a very, very important one-year document to kind of guide us on what we should do in pursuit of the National Development Plan. This is really something which I think the country should be very much worried about. This is a very big institution in this country. It has got very high-powered individuals, all the clinicians, all the planners, and anybody interested in Ugandan economic affairs is very much interested to know whether really government is what is following it. And really that is what is baffling many of us now.
Right.
Because how many years now? About
2 years.
2 years?
It's coming to 2 years. Yeah.
Coming to 2 years.
Yes.
And we don't know whether
we've done nothing lately.
Whether we've done anything.
Right.
In line with the
NDP.
The NDP.
And we spent money on it.
And we spent a lot of money on it.
Putting it together.
By the way, many copies were
production. It's a 400-page document.
400-page document. Many copies were produced.
Yes.
During that launch in April 2010, I think over 1,000 copies were made available to a whole group of people in the conference center.
That's a handsome sum of money.
Yes, which is a handsome sum of money. And of course, there's a whole institution dedicated to implementing it and revising it as we go along. Because as you know, it is a plan which needs to be fine-tuned as we move on.
Right. Do you think it's because there's no money to undertake it? It's a they asked for $15 billion, roughly, between $15 and $17 billion over a 5-year period. That's what the expenditure is expected to be. Is it because there's no such money, $3 billion every year, extra?
My dear friend, I think $3 billion is not a lot of money. We're not talking about the National Development Plan. And when we're looking at all the targets that this plan is supposed to achieve, employment, agricultural production, physical infrastructure development, and this kind of thing.
Right.
That is little money.
Dr. Bwanika, would you agree? Is that because we don't have money, or do you think that's a lame excuse?
That money is not the money to implement the plan.
Yes.
No. Maybe they needed money to streamline the document within the...
$3 billion to spend to actualize the plan.
Yes.
Spending on infrastructure, agriculture, and so on.
No, not $3 billion to spend on agriculture. What the money that the National Planning Authority needs?
No, I'm looking at the plan itself. It has the budget it envisages to activate it. You need $15 billion over the 5-year period. Is it because the government doesn't have that?
Of course, one of the constraints they put into the document, they said inadequate funding.
Yes.
But you know that our budget is now close to $4 billion.
$4 billion,
yes. Per year.
Yes.
If we're talking about 5 years, you will have close to $20 billion in your hands. Yes. So that cannot be a constraint. If your program is the document talks about $15 billion, and this is when we are not anticipated the oil money. Remember, that's money that comes in without we had not anticipated that. So, to me, I don't think that...
Dr. Bwanika, in fact, this document assumes that the oil money would have started flowing by 2009.
By 2009, okay. But, still the problem would not be money. It will not be the funding. I think... as usual, as I've said, that government has failed to You look at all the other documents starting from PMA.
The plan for the modernization of agriculture.
Within, again, you have just said, people has just ended, and all those are very good documents.
Poverty eradication action plan.
Yes, but when we evaluate ourselves, how much of what is within those documents have we implemented? This is a huge thing. This document clearly stated that some of the constraints, some of the problems is a weak public sector who has started to organize this very wonderful.
We'll talk about that public sector. Briefly, do you think it was too ambitious? It was totally out of the,
no,
reasonable.
It is what is within this document is achievable. It's not too ambitious. The problem is that we make good documents and don't want to use them as tools for guidance. In Uganda, it's the only country where people don't use guiding tools. A politician at any level goes to a district and people begin to ask for a new district, and you say, I've given. And it's not part of this This document never envisaged such a, scenarios. It didn't. In Uganda,
like mushrooms.
We are managing in an ad hoc manner. Most of our things are ad hoc. They were not guided by research. We're not guided by. We just come up and policies just simply emanate from nowhere. Yet the policies for the next 30 years should have been guided by this very wonderful document.
Would you agree that that's where the disconnect is? We think like true Africans. We don't like to write things down and follow them.
I think national planning is not a very exciting area. I mean, in Uganda, I may say. People would like to be talking about the current political issues and so on, and then forgetting, like you just told us, that the chairman could not be allowed to present his critique.
After coffee, something changed.
After coffee, something changed in the program.
Yes.
And yet, this is a gentleman who is well regarded, internationally.
Dr. Samba Mugera.
Yes, as a very, very, very astute planner. And he had produced a document which he himself had wanted to evaluate, and tell the country whether it is moving well or not. Whether we're in a position to really achieve the targets which the plan had targeted.
Right.
So, it's not an exciting exercise.
Right. Very clearly across the table, we do not like to keep to our plans. Dr. Bwanika have just put it. You're saying it basically confirmation of the reality. What's going to happen with oil? We write things down, we don't do them. What's going to happen with oil?
It's not our culture here in this country, and moreover, it's not an African culture to be guided by documents. It's not enough. And in Uganda, when you look at the indicators which call for public attention, they are not within this document. We are not yet coming to terms. For instance, when you're talking about an economy that is growing in the US, people asking you about how many jobs you have created.
Yes.
In Uganda, it is very different.
We don't even follow those statistics.
Yes, we don't follow those statistics. When you go to read in the UBOS documents,
the Bureau of Statistics.
Yes, the Bureau of Statistics, you will not clearly point to a
how many jobs are created every month.
Of how many jobs do we create. Yet this document wants to take us into those lines. That is a sophistication.
Yes.
Have we prepared the people who are managers, who are managing the civil servants, the civil service, who are managing the politics? Do they know? Because this document wants to give Uganda a new direction.
Yes.
If you want to become a middle class,
that's how you do it.
You must drop the hard hoc style of doing things. You must abide by researched information. If you don't agree, you critique it before you agree that this is a policy that is going to guide you.
And then write it down before you actually
and write
evaluate
it. And
discuss it. Do a sort of
in Africa, we are used to a boss subject style, a king subject.
The big man syndrome.
Yes, a big man syndrome. Where you come in and you have given...
The man with the quotas arrived.
Yes. You have
all bills are going to be paid.
Exactly. You have given authority and I'm police myself. That is common in Uganda. That's why you hear people say, when Bwanika came to our village, he gave us this. That's the style of the Ugandan.
Of course, you cannot give districts. That's a bit... it's for other people. Hon Oketcho, you come from the background of macroeconomic planning and analysis.
Yes.
What can you expect with oil, with that kind of attitude?
Oil, I think we need to... We have to get away from ad hocism in oil. We have to plan as well and stick to it. There's been a lot of excitement about oil. People have even forgotten that oil is not. It's not everywhere in the Albertine Graben. There are some places where there's no oil, and these investors have gone there, tried to dig, and they have found nothing.
Yes, Neptune lost.
Yes, Neptune lost a lot of money. I saw in the internet the other day.
$50 million.
I think they're moving out by the 20th.
They found only water.
We don't know what Dominion is coming up with. I think they may also move out. You see, Talo has made a lot of noise about this, but the excitement is not really called for. We've got to sit down as a country and plan. What are we going to do with this money? And that plan is going to be discussed by the by the public, by our representatives.
All right. Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, putting in perspective the National Development Plan. What strategies does it propose to deal with our development challenges? We'll be back after this commercial break. To stay tuned.
Special fares to the US, London, China, and India, with extra baggage allowance on selected flights. To book your flight, contact your local travel agent or call us on 041-7800-900 or book online at qatarairways.com/UG. Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
Terms and conditions apply.
John, Mike, and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He is just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special. You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Promotion. Kutoka MTN. Win 10 million shillings every day for 90 days. SMS win to 175.
Win, everybody. It is time to win lots of money. And all you have to do is Sukuma SMS. Big up MTN for this promotion.
Chino.
Win 10 million shillings every day for 90 days. Simply SMS WIN to 175 to play and win. MTN Sukuma SMS.
Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
The spirit that binds us.
Strictly not for sale to persons under 18 years. Please drink responsibly.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back to Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, putting in perspective the National Development Plan. What strategies does it propose to deal with our development challenges? Our guest tonight, Hon William Oketcho, former West Budama Member of Parliament, also ex-chairman of the Parliamentary Budget Committee, and Dr. Abed Bwanika, President of the People's Development Party. You'll be able to call in and contribute to this discussion or send a text message to 7197. That is Spectrum, message, question or comment. Send to 7197. Dr. Oketcho, this plan probably came too early. When we get the oil money, maybe we will implement it 2016, 2017.
No, this did come too early. You know what the period when we were doing the development plans, development planning period, way back in the 60s.
Yes.
That was the time when development planning started in this country. So this didn't come too early. We abandoned it, because of the structure adjustment and so on, these other World Bank initiated programs.
Yes.
But now we've gone full circle, we've come back to it. And it is important that we adhere to it, because at that time the plans meant a lot to the country. I'm telling you, things like the the commandment's charter, the move to the left, and so on, were somehow subsets of development plans.
That's a better one.
Yes.
Policy document.
Policy document, you see. Now, we have come back to this. And whether oil is coming or not, this should have been there much longer. And actually, it should have factored in the coming into the resources from the oil, from the oil explorations and so on, from the oil discoveries.
Yes.
Which, when I was in Parliament, we were told that the oil would be there by 2009.
Yes.
It has never come out. I don't know whether there's any...
2016. Give it another 5 years.
Another 5 years. But this plan is there. So the oil will find this plan there. And if only it could be kept running, because the oil would make it much easier. 15 billion is nothing when it comes to
5 years.
Yes, in 5 years. So
right.
It's not a lot of money when we're looking at our little oil that we have.
But still with oil we expect only about 2.5 billion if oil stays at $100 per barrel. Nigeria budget, well, most budgets are estimated will be long term is $75 a barrel.
No, but it will help a bit because we don't even know where we'll get the 2 billion that you're talking about.
Dr. Bwanika, we should put it on the shelf, keep it nicely in a polythene bag until the oil begins to flow, then it will work.
If we do that, then we forget about turning around Uganda's economy. We are talking about jumping from an LCD country to a middle class.
LDC to middle class, where income's $1,000
yes.
GDP.
If you are going to do that, you must have a fine economic design. Yes. And this document was a precursor for us to begin to discuss this fine economic design that can really change around. You cannot gamble. Uganda, we don't want to be guided by planning.
Yes.
But if you want to turn around an economy, you can't gamble. You must have a proper plan
and an evaluation system.
Exactly.
When you chase away vendors, what have you done to unemployment?
Exactly.
Security.
Yes, those are very nice gymnastics that you people are doing around. People wake up, they are not in Kampala, they don't have jobs.
What does
there is a huge problem in this country. You are rolling out 60,000 graduates every year. Mm-hmm. You are rolling out 500,000 kids from primary to secondary schools, 100 plus from senior 6. Where are the jobs? You must begin to address that. That is a time bomb. That is something that is going to bring problems to this country. So we need to start thinking, and these documents must help us. You must begin to evaluate, quantify.
Yes.
How many jobs are you creating per sector? Is agriculture creating jobs? Is manufacturing creating jobs?
That is great to our people.
Yes, those are things. If we don't, I saw that some of the indicators that they want to use is the per capita, the nominal
$900, $850 to $900.
They are hoping that by the end of this year, probably we will be having, I think,
850 in 5 years' time by 2015.
Yes, but you must have a plan. These are not things that you are simply going to talk about in figures. You must have, and we had an opportunity that the first 5 years, because they are going to produce another document.
After 5 years.
Yes, after 5 years. We would have, piloted. With this 5 years, we pilot. Can we be guided by a document to later? And what are the things that we must improve?
You live in Europe, my friend. Those things don't happen in Africa. You think they can happen here? No. South Africa, maybe Egypt, maybe Nigeria a little bit.
This document should be a means for us to walk towards the goals that were set. Yeah. We don't expect to reach there overnight. No, you can't say you're going to create middle income, country.
Yes, by 2017.
By 2017, without following these steps that the plan is what is demanding that must be followed. And so keeping it in the shelves is really, I'm sure that we're going to nowhere.
We're true Africans. Let's assume we had the money. Do we have the personnel to implement it? In case we had all the money now, 3 billion every year, would we have the people to do it in the right place?
First of all, what the people, to draw up the plan. These people should be made to identify those who can implement the plan as well. And I think we have a lot of Ugandans in this country who would be very, very interested in implementing this plan. If that unit was only made to get these people to work, these ministries, they are all operating on an ad hoc basis, but somebody should be able to guide them. In fact, if they could be given an opportunity to report monthly to the National Secretariat of the Planning Authority as to how far they have inched towards getting the target, that would be at least a first step towards actually achieving these targets. But everybody is just sitting back, and I think
we're busy dealing with ghost schools and ghost other things.
For them, think that the human resource development is going to be key if we are going to turn around our economy. We are rolling out the quantities. We have, I think, I'm not worried about the kind of quantities we are rolling out. But the quality of these people that we are rolling in the public service, in the private sector, are they skilled, yes or no? Uganda, we are having people who are graduating from these very wonderful universities, now 32 I think, but with zero skill. They don't have skill. If you have to turn around and you
can't say they don't have skill. One university gave us they reinvented the wheel for us and added a car to it.
I was so surprised by Ugandans that either we don't read. Go and check Nissan Renault in Japan. They are already selling these electric cars. They on the market
to reinvent the wheel. What's wrong with that?
They're on the market. Probably by the time Uganda produces this wonderful car, there will be so many left and right. But they did a good job. I mean, because
Doctor, sorry. If you're talking about skills,
yes,
I think this plan has also got a way of creating these skills.
They were addressing it in their document.
Yes, they're addressing it here.
They were.
And we just have to pursue that.
Let's talk about the reality right now. How do you assess, Hon William Oketcho, how would you assess the quality of our civil service? You were head of PADS, the privatization unit. You had quality people. Some people are flowing in from the US.
Yes.
People like Emmanuel Wamala and many others. Anne Mugisha was part of that team, coming in from abroad, the diplomatic service and so on. You had quality stuff. What do you see when you look at the civil service? Do you have the right people in the right places?
I cannot critique them right away, but due to the fact that we are not adhering to targets, we are not moving according to our plans and so on, and nobody is questioning from the public service, it shows that really there is something lacking. I had the opportunity to work in a very respected environment under the Public Enterprise Reform and Diversity Secretariat.
Yes.
And I enjoyed myself because I was...
You had some of the best brains.
Heading a team of the best brains that this country could get, and actually the whole world.
But apart from even the skills we are talking about,
yes,
for me I'm very worried that soon after the elderly who are in the public service retire, there are still remaining very few of his likes.
Yes, senior people with experience
who are cultured for public service. We are rolling in a new generation whose value system has changed.
Has changed actually.
They are looking, they are looking for houses in the first year of their employment, deployment, huge vehicles. They want to fly. You go in the public service, it is in tatters. I'm actually worried who is going to serve this country after those who are now 55 and above when they leave public service. There is a huge gap. You can present the two officers, the one who is above 50 and the one who is below 50. You will be surprised.
How do you explain that? Is it a global phenomenon or what?
No, because the value system in this country has tremendously changed.
The value system has changed.
Yes.
What causes that?
I think it may be some...
the value system, he will tell you that for him he was trained right from primary school.
Yes.
You don't just speak it from the university. No. You go to, I told you, I've been making these arguments that today a kid of primary 1 by 6 a.m. is already at Kampala parent school or Sita parent.
Yes.
He will come back home by 7
doing homework.
With homework, the only thing is he knows is to excel academically.
Yes.
But that one does not make you a good citizen for this country. They are not wholesome. We are not giving wholesome education.
Whole human beings.
We need an holistic approach so that we can produce a total human being who is going to, cater for this country. But what we are doing, and in Uganda we are spending 253 days at school. In America it is 180. Finland, which has the best education in the whole world, 200. A parent does not have even time to transfer value systems to these kids. They only pass exams, and that's what they know with these things in their ears, and that's what we are producing. So we must change. The education system must be turned around. I hope Jessica will do that, Jessica, because this is a tall order, if you want, because human resource development is a centerpiece
in all this.
Yes, in whatever we are talking about. Yes. You can come up with a wonderful economic design, but you don't have the people. You don't have the people. During his days, we used to hear people who were sponsored by government to go outside and get some skill, come back and help to turn around that sector of the economy.
Yes.
Today, people are training at these universities. Who is going to deploy them? Where are their jobs? Who did the needs assessment so that you know that we need so many people in this area, we need so many in the other area. We are just training because people are just looking for money. These schools, the private schools, where are the standards? Where are the what policy do they run on? Because you realize now people come in, they are training, they are rolling out students. What are they giving them apart from passing these exams? So these are huge things. We cannot claim that we are going to have a middle class in the next 30 years without us seriously taking into consideration those issues.
No, I mean, definitely this is true. I've had an occasion to interact with some graduates, some of them first-class graduates.
Yes.
From here.
Yeah.
And you give them some exercise. And
basic things.
They can't perform.
And they say, please ask for something else.
They can't perform. They can't. And I think the Ministry of Education should be taking care of this.
Listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, putting in perspective the NDP. What strategies does it propose to deal with that development challenges? You can call in now. Our number is 0414-348-111, 0312-260390, 0312-261390. You ask him to explain something he went to school to learn, and he says, please ask me another question. Spectrum,
hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
Yes, my name is Dr. Adieri Muchori.
Yes, doctor.
I am one of the Kenyans who actually picked a copy of that document from Honorable Oketcho. He could recall me. I'm a lecturer in social development. Now, I have a couple of comments. Now, regarding your National Development Plan of Uganda, it's an excellent document. Yes, you have said that. However, you need to realize that there are a couple of weaknesses and strengths that Uganda has got. On the strength side, I've been listening to you being very critical about your education system. Now, I need to let you know that the bulk of the great people in Kenya were educated by Ugandan teachers, okay? So if you think Uganda's education system is not good, you better understand that Kenya and Tanzania's bright people have benefited from Ugandans. Number two, you're still criticizing the current education system, but Rwanda sends a lot of its students to Uganda for education, and Uganda has developed and has been able to implement on the strength of an education system in Uganda. So if you're criticizing Uganda's education system, you need to look at the strengths first before you spend a lot of time criticizing. So Uganda has got very good, competent people who can be able to implement, and this has been proven by the fact that products of Uganda's education system have been able to implement in Rwanda. Number two, Uganda worries us a lot as a country, because it is only through Uganda's success that a lot of the problems in Kenya and Tanzania will be resolved. You see, you've got the better part of of some of the things, but then you don't have all our weaknesses. So you actually need to move from the ideas and discussion stage to implementation and execution. The document is good. You have the brains. You have the people. You need to move to execution. Otherwise, if you're not careful, your President Museveni will very comfortably hand over power to a next generation after him, not the next generation immediately, but a second one. Because you have a generation of people who spend too much time talking and criticizing without rolling their sleeves. You have a problem because you've got a culture of people who, like you said, want to drive big vehicles and behave like Jaluos, like us in Kenya, not like the Kikuyu who save and scratch their money and will be product to the others. Thank you very much.
Interesting, Dr. Adia. Spectrum, hello? Okay, let's...
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You give me your name?
Aroma Patrick.
Yes.
I have 3 issues. The first one is that I totally agree that we have a very beautiful national development plan. And I also agree that our education system has produced exceptionally good people who have excelled in Kenya, in Tanzania, as the previous caller put it. However, what is destroying our development in Uganda? First, in the education system, we must eliminate nepotism, tribalism, and discrimination, which has a negativity, especially in our universities. If we are to develop a competent human resource that will help these 3 countries, we must be very nationalistic in our approach to education. 2, the development plans which we have are all very good, but they are very theoretical. And we are very good at developing these theories, right from peace up to what we have. What we lack are the practical execution of these plans on the ground. And the government should come up with a very good mechanism to really translate these good development plans into tangible results that this country can reach. Finally, we need to correct our politics. You see, politics determines everything. The moment we correct our politics and we accept and recognize talent and allow people to move on, whether you are in the position, as long as you can make a good contribution into this country, the government must support you. If being in the position does not mean you cannot economically contribute or economically be productive. Let the government change its attitude of sabotaging all the good economic programs that an opposition person is engaged in. Let everybody be supported on the equal basis of being citizens, and we shall develop this country. Thank you.
Patrick, thank you very much indeed. Let's get back to the studio. Dr. Bwanika.
First of all, I want to reassure Dr. Adiel that we are very much aware that one of the sectors where Uganda has a competitive edge as far as the East African community is concerned is education. We have no doubt about that. However, we are drawing our argument from where we were in the 70s, in the 80s, and today. You know, the picture is very different. The products you are talking about, probably they are products up to 2000. You may want to check the products after 2000, after the year 2000. That's our argument. We want to stay on the cutting edge as far as education is concerned.
Yes.
We are aware Kenyans are here, Tanzanians are here, but this is a sector that we must guard jealously. You know, for me, according to me, that this is a sector where we must even do further investment as a country. We must prioritize education. apart from agriculture, apart from tourism, apart from the oil which people are talking about, education is another key sector. It must be central in driving our economy.
Yes.
And we are discussing it in that context. We're not discussing in the context that there is nothing, you know, that has happened.
In the regulatory context,
yes,
be better.
Yes. We want to.
Let's be fine-tuned.
Yeah, you want to improve. The other issues about implementation, that's what we are talking about. Wonderful documents are here. I think I want to make a comment on what Patrick is alluded to. The issue of, if I'm saying correct politics, we need to correct.
Yes, go on.
Yes.
You are a politician.
Yes. I think the biggest problem in this country, we are only 34 million people.
Yes.
It is a small size. You know, if you want to compare yourself with China, with India, you know, if you are talking about, you know, growing an economy, the others, I mean, in terms of number. 4
million we can fit in Greater Kampala.
Yes. Really. We don't have lots of people at the top of pinnacle in terms of thinking. In every society, there will be fewer thinkers. There are not many. There will be fewer. It is the work of any government. It is within your duty to spot these people, wherever they are. Give them capacity to think and help a country to move in a direction which you want. I always ask, I've ever written a letter to President Museveni. I had asked for an appointment. I said I wanted to meet you. One of my agenda was, how can Uganda use their best human resource in national development?
Right.
This best human resource, it is scattered within the movement, within the pattern. No part at all. There are even those who are not interested.
No monopoly. Right?
Yeah, who are not interested. So government must put a framework in place to help to identify, to develop this capacity and utilize it.
Right.
There is no country anywhere in the world which has ever developed without utilizing their best human resource.
All right. Honorable,
it's time that we catch up on that.
Honorable Oketcho.
For me, first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Dieri for having recognized the fact that he received the plan from me way back in April 2010, and I'm sure he has been using it very well. I also like to recognize the fact that he definitely feels that there's a problem with implementation and execution of this plan. Much as a very, very nice document, very good plan for the country, it is execution or rather implementation of all these nice ideas, which is really our problem. And we've been talking here, trying to see how best we can solve that problem with implementation. Human resource, you know, of course we have the human resource, as I said earlier. There are others which are not skilled, but they are people, you know, who could be, you know, resourced so as to, you know, actually put together to manage and implement this plan very, very well. The ministries are there, you know, but some of the staff, as you have, as I've said, are not geared towards really seeing that this plan is successful. It is important that, of course, countries like Rwanda and, you know, and so on, and Kenya, you know, have benefited from our education system. That's good enough. As for Patrick, since Dr. Bwanika is here, I would like to make an appeal that any politician worth his salt should be seen within the light of how best is recommending alternative, you know, policies,
better policies, not for the sake of
not just growing all these unemployed youth, running around the city every day, you know, doing nothing, you know.
But they're being chased off the streets. They have jobs. They're being destroyed.
Those
jobs.
They have jobs. They have been idlers or vendors. You know. Let the politicians. They've been handed unemployed. Okay, I mean, actually, political parties higher than NRM come up with alternative policies which can make sure the national development plan, which they all contributed to. is implemented.
Thank you very much, Judge. Hon William Oketcho, former West Budama Mp and ex-chairman of the parliamentary. Thank you very much, Dr. Abed Bwanika,
Thank you too.
President of the People's Development Party. Thank you.